Hello everybody. Today we'll be discussing fungal infection, which is bread and butter of dermatologists. As these infections are so common, you all should be able to diagnose it. So let's start our discussion. Fungal infection, obviously, which are caused by fungus. What are fungus? Fungus are the large and diverse group of organisms that exist as saprophytes, commensals, or parasites. There are thousands of known species, though less than 100 though less than 100 are human pathogens. Fungi can produce harmful effects by producing mycotoxin or by evoking allergic reactions or by direct tissue invasion. Predisposing factors for fungal infection can be moisture, occlusive clothing, non-porous shoes, warm and humid climate, excessive sweating, immunocompromised state, drugs, obesity, excessive stress, and malnutrition. Age, children, especially boys, are at risk for tinea capitis. Fungal infections are relatively more common in men as it is considered that women are less exposed to the environment. Geographic location like hot and humid climates, the incidence of tinea corporis increases. Certain human population may be genetically more susceptible to particular dermatophytic infection. Virulence of the organism also plays an important role as there is species variation, strain to strain differences that exist in the same organism. Endocrine and metabolic factors like diabetes mellitus, Cushing syndrome, malnourished children are more susceptible to the tinea infections. Most dermatophytes grow poorly at 30 to 37 degrees Celsius. So temperature has also an important factor in tinea infection. The other co-pathogen like Staphylococcus increases the severity of tinea infections. So classifying the fungal infections are as superficial fungal infections and deep fungal infections. Superficial fungal infections are the infections which infects the keratinized tissue of the body, like skin, hair, and nail. Subcutaneous fungal infections are which infect the subcutaneous tissues of the body. Then again, systemic infection can be again classified into two: pathogenic and opportunistic. Systemic infection are those infect the internal organs of the body. Opportunistic infection, as you can guess by the name, they invade the body when there is a breach in defense mechanism. They can be commensals also. Uh, Superficial infections will learn about superficial infection. We'll start by tinea versicolor. It is the common fungal infection of skin. The fungus interferes with the normal pigmentation of skin, resulting in small discolored patches. The patches can be lighter or darker in color than the surrounding skin and most commonly affect the trunk and shoulders, as you can see. Most commonly occurs in teens and young adults. Mild itching and scaling may be present. Predisposing factor again are the same: hot, humid weather, oily skin, hormonal changes, weakened immune system. Diagnosis is mainly clinical, but if you scrape the scale and see it under microscope, you will see a typical appearance known as spaghetti and meatball appearance, or as to simplify it, banana and grape appearance. Again, going to the most common fungal infection, which we'll be dealing today are dermatophytosis, which are again covered in the superficial cutaneous fungal infections. Dermatophytosis are 40 species of dermatophytosis, which can be classified into three genera: trichophyton, microsporum, epidermophyton. Trichophyton can infect all the three skin, hair, and nails. Microsporum infects skin and hair. Epidermophyton infects skin and nail, which can again classified on the habitus of the fungus. Like anthrophilic fungi are the human habitat, human pathogen. They will transfer the disease from human to human. Zoophilic are animal habitat. They'll transfer the disease from animals to human, and geophilic are obviously they'll be residing in the soil. They'll transmit the disease from soil to humans or animals. Moving on to our again we'll this dermatophytis tinea capitis. Tinea capitis is, as you can see, it is the infection of scalp and hair with scalp and hair. It is commonest mycosis observed in India. It can be classified as tinea capitis based on inflammation and spores. Inflammation, it can be inflammatory and non-inflammatory. Inflammatory will cover carrion and favus, and non-inflammatory will be gray patch and black dot types. Based on spores, it is ectothrix and endothrix. Ectothrix is spores are outside the hair, endothrix spores are inside the hair. Infection predominantly occurs in prepubertal children over the age of 6 months. Although it can occur in all age groups, the shortness of the hairs in boys and the ease with which the spores can reach the scalp used to explain the increased incidence in the boys. Non-inflammatory variety was clearly more common than inflammatory variety, with grey patch type being the most common. The appearance may vary from few dull hairs, broken off hairs with little scaling detectable only on careful inspection, to a severe painful inflammatory mass covering most of the scalp, as you can see that. Diagnosis most often clinical, which is fortified with direct light microscopic examination and Woods lamp examination. Woods lamp will be dealing later. Green fluorescence is seen on Woods lamp examination. The patch you see right now is a most common presentation of tinea infection. As it is a circular patch, you must have already seen in advertisement the people applying it ring guard or so. Let me tell you, that's not the treatment for tinea infections. The infection is most commonly known as dhat in Hindi and gachkaran in Marathi. The appearance is annular, the reason for which can be there is central clearing and borders are the inflammatory. The reason for which can be the host inflammatory response and the increasing epidermal turnover lead to shedding of the organism at the inflammatory ring, while those just ahead maintain the infection. The annular appearance of dermatophytic infection is compatible with above observation. Now we'll move on to our next disease, Tinea barbae, also known as barber's itch. It is the infection of beard and mustache area with invasion of the coarse hair. Predisposing factors are topical corticosteroid use and occupation related contact with animal. Diagnosis can be done by potassium hydroxide mount of scraping from the margin of the lesion, or plugged hair may be positive for mycelial elements. The picture you are right now seeing is tinea facie. It is a dermatophytic infection that occurs on non-beard regions of the face. Beard region infection we have already seen. As like other dermatophyte, it occurs in warm, humid climate. It often occurs in all age group, but it is often found in children due to direct contact with pets. It is associated with burning, itching, and photosensitivity. Tinea facially mostly often as an erythematous scaly macule that extends peripherally and develop raised borders. Diagnosis is again KOH preparation of skin scraping and easiest method of confirming the diagnosis. We'll move to third one, that is tinea corporis. It is defined as dermatophytosis of the glabrous skin with exclusion of palms, soles and groin. Infection can be transmitted by direct contact with other infected individuals or by infected animal. Predisposing factors are poor personal hygiene, poor nutrition, and debilitating systemic diseases like diabetes. The predisposing factors are uh, direct contact with other infected individual, infected animal, poor personal hygiene, poor nutrition, and debilitating systemic diseases like diabetes, leukemia, and other endocrine disorders. The clinical features are the typical lesion of tinea corporis is usually annular or polycyclic. Its border are erythematous and vesicular or scaly, but the center is clear. Concentric rings may be seen. It is generally less inflammatory than tinea capitis. The central skin may show post-inflammatory hyperpigmentation, a change of texture, or residual erythematous dermal nodules. It can occur on any organ of the body. The most common side in the females are waistline, as they tie their saris to the waistline. You can see right now. Okay. The other one, the other disorder dealing is tinea cruris. It affects the infection of groin is also Tinea cruris. It predominantly occurs in males and is also known as dhobi itch or jock's itch. Transmission of infection may occur by direct contact between infected and non-infected individual. Environmental factors are important in initiation and propagation. A warm and humid climate, as in India, particularly in monsoon region, favors the Tinea cruris. Clinical features are characteristic lesions have well marginated raised border composed of multiple erythematous papulovesicles and a clear centered lesion are seen in genitocrural area and on the medial aspect of upper thigh and are usually bilateral but asymmetrical. Itching is the predominant feature. Dealing with the next one are the tinea manum. It is defined as ringworm of the palmar skin and infections beginning under the rings. Infection over the glabrous dorsal hand skin continues to be called as tinea corporis. It occurs most commonly in adults and in males. Infection may be acquired by contact with an infected area on the another part of the body or from another person, animal or soil. Infection of the right dominant hand is more common. The infection may begin under rings, wristwatches, bangles, and where anatomical deformities, occupational deformities, or occupational use predisposed to maceration between finger. Other factors favoring are manual labor, hyperhidrosis, and existing inflammatory dermatosis. The most common clinical presentation is hyperkeratosis of the palm and finger, affecting the skin diffusely. Diagnosis is unilateral involvement of the hand is quite characteristic and should arouse the suspicion. The types are non-inflammatory squamous and inflammatory vesicular, dyshydrotic or eczematous form. Okay. Onychomycosis. The term onychomycosis is derived from Greek word onyx, nail, and myx, fungus. It is dermatophytic infection of nail plate. It is you can see right now. This is the picture right now showing is tinea pedis. It is dermatophytic infection of the feet and is also called as athlete's foot. It is most common fungal infection worldwide, affecting 30 to 70% of the population. The hands and feet are favorable environment for dermatophytic proliferation because of their lack of sebaceous gland and produce fungistatic lipids. It is more common among men than women. The lateral toes are most often affected, particularly in the web space between the fourth and fifth toe, followed by interspace between third and fourth toes. Clinical features are it is characterized by fissuring, scaling, or maceration in the interdigital or subdigital area. Aggravating factors are warmth, humidity, and hyperhidrosis. Symptomatic inflamed and macerated tinea pedis can be attributed to an overgrowth of bacteria in the macerated skin. Diagnosis is a KOH mount of the scale taken preferably from the active border of the lesion. It is sufficient for diagnosis. A culture of sample helps identifying the causative fungal organism. Now we'll be dealing with tinea incognito, also known as corticosteroid modified tinea. Tinea modified are by topical or systemic immunosuppression. Treatment due to misdiagnosis are given for some coexisting dermatosis. It can be also misdiagnosed for eczema. As inflammation is suppressed because of immunosuppressant, black As inflammation is suppressed by immunocompression, the lesion becomes less visible and associated symptoms are decreased. After stopping the treatment, the dermatosis relapses with varying severity. Further application brings renewed relief and the cycle goes on. Diagnosis is the awareness that the face, hands, and groins are the common sites of misdiagnosis. Stoppage of corticosteroids will lead to the reemergence of inflammation and scaling, thus facilitating the scraping and laboratory diagnosis. Here we complete our dermatophytosis. Now we'll be dealing with candidial infections, cutaneous candidiasis, also known as candidiasis, caused by Candida species. Infection usually confined to skin, nails, mucous membrane, and GIT. Has predilection for moist, macerated folds, can be systemic and infect multiple internal organs. Candidial intertrigo, as you are seeing right now, retention of moisture, increased temperature, and maceration in the body folds, particularly during summer and monsoon, favors the growth of Candida. The disease occurs in acute and chronic form. Acute eruption typically starts with a moist erythematous exudate deep in the folds and gradually develops characteristic fringed irregular edges and subcorneal pustules that rupture to form erosion. The chronic form of intertrigo frequently involves the interdigital spaces of the feet where a thick white overhydrated layer of stratum corneum overlies the epidermis. Gram-negative bacteria are common co-pathogens. Topical applications of steroids often modify the signs of inflammation. Apart from body folds, macerated skin underneath the rings and dressing may become infected. As now you are seeing oral candidiasis. Candida is present in oral cavity as a commensal in about 50% of the population at a given time. Candida albicans is the most commonly isolated organism. Risk factors for the oral candidiasis include age, oral dentures, diabetes mellitus, use of oral broad spectrum antibiotics, steroids and other immunosuppressive drugs, tobacco use including smoking, hyposalivation, iron deficiency anemia, cancer and chemotherapy, HIV infection. Clinical variants for oral candidiasis are acute pseudomembranous candidiasis, which has a wide curdy patches which are covered by the pseudomembrane, chronic pseudomembranous candidiasis, medium rhomboid glossitis, acute atrophic candidiasis, chronic hyperplastic candidiasis, chronic atrophic candidiasis. The treatment for which is topical antifungals are the first line of treatment for uncomplicated oral candidiasis. Moving forward, Candidial paronychia. Chronic paronychia may be variety of hand dermatitis caused by environmental exposure that often becomes colonized by Candida. The presence of bacterial co-pathogen must always be considered. Condition is most commonly found in persons whose hands are frequently immersed in water. For example, housewives. Due to lockdown, it can also be seen in males also now. And fishermen. It is characteristic by swelling and redness of the nail folds. Slight pressure over the skin yields a small amount of typical creamy white exudate. Moving forward, candidial vulvovaginal candidiasis. Common symptoms are vulval itching, irritation, pain, dyspareunia, and thick curdy vaginal discharge. Inflammation can also be present. Melanoprosthesis. The skin of glans penis, especially in the uncircumscribed, may sometimes be colonized by Candida asymptomatically. Mild cases present with small papular lesion over the glans. As condition progresses, pustules and vesicles are formed that rupture to form an irregular fringed edges. Some cases may resolve spontaneously, whereas in others the condition continue to be intermittent. Treatment involves topical anticandidial cream. Okay, here we completed our candidial infections. Moving to deep subcutaneous infection, which infects the subcutaneous tissue of the body, that is mycetoma. These are the infections which usually remain limited to skin and subcutaneous tissue, rarely spreading to internal organs. The usual mode of infection is through inoculation. Mycetoma is chronic, suppurative, granulomatous disease of subcutaneous tissues and bones. The etiological agents ranges from bacteria to fungi. Presence with localized swelling with multiple sinus discharging granules that are the microcolonies of the causative agent. The lesion becomes less visible and its associated symptoms are decreased. अठरा एकोणीस झाले का तुझे Black grains are almost eumycotic, whereas red grains are due to actinomycotic. White or pale grains may be either eumycotic or actinomycotic. Therapy should be continued for several months after clinical cure to prevent a relapse. Pain is not a serious complaint when only the soft tissue is involved. The condition becomes very painful with involvement of bones or with secondary bacterial infection. For treatment, antibiotics and antifungals can be used. The OPD diagnostic instruments, which will be discussing right now, are the picture you're seeing is Wood's lamp. It is an OPD diagnostic aid. Wood's lamp examination. Wood's lamp essentially consists of a source of ultraviolet light which is filtered by Wood's glass made up of barium silicate containing about 9% of nickel oxide and transmits wavelength about 365 nanometer. Certain dermatophytes produce a characteristic fluorescence. It is a rapid test and which helps in early diagnosis. The other laboratory tests are we can do KOH mount, and fungus can be cultured in Sabrous dextrose agar. PAS and methamine silver are used for histopathological staining. Now the treatment part, which will be more covered by the pharmacology department. I'll be only enumerating the drugs which are commonly used are azole groups of the drugs which we commonly used are this and uh, the following chart enumerates the commonly used drugs and their doses. The detail of which will be taken by pharmacology department. Thank you so much.